My name's Noelle Shia, and I'll be speaking about global feminism. Organizations like this remind us that problems such as climate change, labor migration, public health, famine, genocide, civil conflict, and human rights violations are not just security issues for individual states, but global issues of justice. Feminism is an empowering framework to understanding your world and your place in it. Feminism says that all people are human beings, and every person deserves the same rights and opportunities, regardless of their social status. Ultimately, feminism is about justice in the face of inequity and inequality. We can use global communications to create a broad network connecting young people who share the same interest in international affairs. We can be informed citizens of the world by learning how it works. Protecting humans is the purported purpose of many international laws and institutions. Let's hold our governments, politicians, and each other accountable by critically assessing policy and ideology. This is a platform for our voices to be heard. Dialogue and deliberation are the precursors to all policy-making decisions. This process of deliberation can influence and inspire a generation of future leaders. However, listening is just as important, if not more so. Intersectionality is how multiple aspects of identity combine in different ways to construct social reality. Systems of oppression interact and intersect to produce all forms of injustices. For example, gender injustices and women's rights violations like sexual slavery, sex trafficking, forced domestic labor, and the systematic withholding of education, food, and healthcare from women and girls around the globe. Of these issues, third world women and women of color are disproportionately affected. Institutions in power use identity to exclude some and privilege others. We must understand the intersectional dimensions of injustice in order to evaluate an issue accurately. Feminist academic discourse is concerned with issues of social justice, environmental justice, racism, ethnocentrism, ableism, colonialism, heterosexism, the marginalization of religious groups, mental health stigma, cissexism, classism, Eurocentrism, and much more. To confront societal and systemic inequity is to also confront ourselves and our own assumptions. Ultimately, leadership is a social process. Our words and our actions have an effect and impact. Regardless of good intentions, we can continue a social and historical process of disempowering groups. Silencing and the refusal to listen are central to this process. Support and advocacy for marginalized groups should study and listen to perspectives of the underrepresented by using primary sources. Who is underrepresented amongst our teachers, leaders, books, news, places, and spaces? Whose voices are we listening to? Whose voices are not being heard? We ought to recognize when we have the privilege to be discussing these issues as issues. We need to hold ourselves and those around us accountable in making sure that actions align with values. Who is speaking for whom? Above all, we must not forget that these political conversations and debates are more than just ideas and issues to talk or think about. These are the lived experiences of people around the world. This is reality. This is someone's life. Therefore, we should seek to include the very people that comprise the communities involved. Let's not forget, we are here because we are invested in humanity.